So thank you very much for joining us. We have much more people around the world asking for the recording because this is the magic of Zoom and Towards Vivencia, that we go around the globe in one go. So right now it's 4 p.m. in Barcelona, where I am, 3 p.m. in UK, where most of the other people is. Nancy, I think it's your 5 p.m. Am I correct? Yes. And Jane, I don't know what time is your time zone.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. and not too early. I thought for a second that you say 7 a.m. and I was thinking, oh man, respect. But no, it's not too bad. But I know that there are some people from India and China and Japan who are asking for the recording. So it's quite nighttime over there. So whatever we are saying, it will go their way in their recording. So why we are doing this event is because we've seen that the tendency is changing, and actually it's really good to keep track of what's going on in the world, and that is a little bit this event for us to tell you what we've discovered, for you to tell us what we've discovered. And something that I find it much more interesting is how we create new trends from what we think or what we believe on. And this is something that I'm very, very interested in this moment, that is such a chaos that we need to shed some light into what's going on, and that is going to mark the way forward. I don't know if you read the article that it was in the New York Times 6 days ago about dance and going back to the radical form of dance on the beginning of the century. It's really good article, highly recommended. So yeah, it's definitely a moment of change, and we don't know what's going to happen later or during, but we are here to shape a little bit that change and serve from this change as much as we can. So that being said, I want to introduce very, very quickly to Bridget. Bridget Lapin is the assistant director of this whole shebang madness that Towards Vivencia is. She takes care of the curating of the teachers in the academy, liaise with them, and also together we lead the Towards Vivencia training program for peak performance presence. We have Fanny on the bottom right corner. We have Bridget on the upper left corner, and I have Fanny on the bottom right corner, which is quite interesting. And Fanny is the person who keeps us all in track. Is our producer, manager, shoulder to cry on, and person who knows how to say no, which it's really, really valuable. And most of the people say yes and make things happen. Bridget and Fanny, do you want to add anything about yourself, about Towards Vivencia, before we start with what we've learned over the last few months? Great. I have to tell you that before starting this event, I felt that I was not prepared at all. It's like this is the talk that I prepared the least in the last few months or years. But then I had to sit down and say, like, actually, Jorge, you've been preparing this for the last 2 years and a half, because you've been doing this for 2 years and a half. So I'm not gonna blag my way through. That is what I normally do in my classes. I have a little script. Camille, what are you laughing at? You've taken classes with me. You know that I blag my way through all the time. So I have a little script, but before I go into it, I would be very interesting for the people who are here. If there is something that you are finding problems with this online training or online engaging, because that's what we are going to be focusing in today, or if there is something that you are curious about how other people do it, because it might be something that I haven't thought about, because I might take it for granted, or I might not even think about it, and it might be something interesting for you. I'm going to tell you very quickly what I'm going to cover, just to see if it's something that it's not there that you'll be interested. I am going to be dividing this event, this talk, in 4 parts. We have 60 minutes, 60 minutes, because we have a session afterwards about introducing practice as research with Athena Bagla and Lucia Piquero. So we are going to divide these 60 minutes in 4 parts. We're going to be talking about tech, so very, very simple, straightforward technical tips for online classes that we've learning. Some of them will be useful, some of them you might know, some of them will be unexpected, some of them will be you might disagree with, but it would be good also to hear. I'm not going to talk very much about Zoom features, because that is very particular for Zoom, but for whatever you do, Skype or WhatsApp or any other platform, those things that I'm going to be talking apply, and a little bit about Zoom because it's the platform that is serving us the most. It seems like the most well spread. In there, I'm going to be talking a little bit about light, about mic and sound, and about spacing around you. Then I'm going to be talking about the content of the classes. I'm going to be talking about, regardless of what is the specialty, what is the content of your class specifically, something that we've realized over the last few months that it helps a lot with the people who are here. And so we're talking about the interaction between participants and teacher, guide, however we want to call lecture. The context in which the teaching is part of, and the idea that the content, it might be how we can generate the content, that it's not a substitution for a normal traditional class that we normally teach, but actually it is something that is catered for this medium, which is something a bit different. So we were talking about that. That is a little bit about the content, and then we will talk about outreach or promo, because there is such a a storm. Oh, I was looking for another better word, but it's such a storm of information nowadays, that how people know what you're doing, and what you're doing is something that it's going to help them, and why they yeah. That's why, for example, I was very curious with Jane, because we know how Nancy and Camille arrive here, but it's always good to know what other channels arrive. So I'm going to be talking about that. And that's all I have. Anything else that you think that it might, and then will be a fourth party, would be questions or things that in the meantime is like, oh, what is this about? Anything that you might think that it is not there? Perfect. At any time, if you want, just write in the chat, or because it's not many people, just unmute yourself and say, hey, Jorge, stop there. I think, or I believe, or that's not my experience. Caroline, good afternoon. I don't want to put you on the spot. Yes, I saw you.
Hi, Jorge. Sorry I'm late. I'm
No
just
worries at all.
from half-term walk.
Nice, very nice.
For work and things like that. So yeah, hi everyone.
No worries. Do you know who Milan Kundera is, the author?
I don't. No.
Milan Kundera. It has a beautiful book called The Unbearable Lightness of Being.
Oh yes, of course I know that book. Yeah,
yes,
I do.
and he said that you're never late. You are when you are. And I love that.
I love that too.
But don't tell my students, please.
Secret safe with me.
Yes.
And sorry about my background. This is the only place I can get a bit of peace and quiet, in my kid's bedroom. It's the Spider-Man and
oh, we like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you the real me, my real bedroom. It's because I don't like my camera. It does a very strange fishbowl idea. So this is one of the things that we can start talking about. So Caroline, for you, just to catch up, we're going to divide this talk in 4 different parts: tech, content of the class, promo, outreach, and then questions and discussion. So this is the very first thing that I said that I was not going to use Zoom features very much, but here we are. We're going to be talking about technology, things that are before we start the class. I do not like my camera. You see that it makes kind of like a fishbowl, and for me it is more distracting than anything else. So that's why I decided to take one background that is quite interesting, because I can see big time that is fully fake, but you don't know how many times I hear the people asking me, oh wow, this is really nice new studio, where is that in your flat? And then I told them always the same joke. It's like, I'm a dance artist. I earn so much money that I bought a castle in Barcelona. So this is my basement. This is my rooftop. This is the view from my window. And this is my new study. So this is the way that I do it, because I don't like my background. But Bridget, do you mind if I put you in the spot? Bridget always teaches classes from her room mainly, and so if you can make a wider angle, it's quite clean where she is. So the less things that you have, not today. Don't worry, don't worry about it, Bridget.
No, because I got my laundry hanging up because I'm not teaching today.
There you are. Do you see what she said? Because I am not teaching today. So normally the space, the cleanest it is, the easier will be for the people to be with you. And I'm not talking about the cleaners like you need to clean for real. It's just to have less stuff. So Camille, not putting you in the spot as well, but having those pictures and things like that is a bit distracting for people. What we realize, and raise your hand if you've heard this before, is like people are really tired of being for more than 45, 50 minutes online. There is a few things that we can do to reduce this tiredness, and have a busy background. It's something that makes people busy because it's too much things to take on. Another practical thing is when you are teaching class, it is really good if I'm going to be talking about tech support later on, but if the tech support doesn't do it for you, my suggestion is that you do this, what I have just done now. I don't know if it changed your screen, but I spotlight myself, meaning that that I have all of you in a very small screen, and you can see me bigger. Did you see the difference what I have just done? I don't know if it changed anything for your screens. Yeah. So when you see myself bigger, once again, I don't have to force my eyes to see what's going on, what the teacher is doing, but it helps the people to focus on that. My apologies if you see a scratch in my nose a lot, is I got a cold and it's not getting out of what's going on. Bridget, you say something? I saw you moving your lips. Oh, I'm frozen. Hello, I think I was frozen. Hello, everyone. Am I here? Yeah, I was frozen before, right? No? Oh, okay, fine, fantastic. You were actually, you were frozen. So yeah, my apologies if you see me scratching my nose a lot because I got a cold and I didn't get rid of it. So something that happened to me right now, it is I had 10,000 million things open in my computer. I had Final Cut, I had Google Chrome, I had Safari, and I have my emails. And my Google Chrome, because I'm a total disaster, had around 35, 36 tabs open. The more things you have open in your computer, the more possibilities it is that it crashes. There is a bug going on with Zoom, that if you're using Zoom the whole day and then you change between accounts, your camera doesn't work, so it doesn't recognize the video. So that's what I had to do at the beginning of this call. I had to go out and go in again. So for the most interesting part, people getting tired. There are three reasons why people get tired of being online. First of all, is because the interaction, it is not as spatial and special. It is something different. But in terms of attention, in terms of perception, there are three elements that you can help with your students, participants. First of all, is the space that we talk about it, and then is the light. If I get like that, so you still see me. It didn't change a lot, but it will be harder for you to see me. If I do this, still it doesn't change a lot. You see me still, but you don't realize it gets more tiring to see what's going on. So actually to have front light, if you realize, it's gonna change quite a lot now. It changes quite a lot. Not that if you have it from the beginning, no one will realize the difference, but it makes a big change. So what I do is when I do lectures, I mean, I spend my life here, so I have set up my office in the way that I want it. But what I have is I have two screens. So the one on my right that you cannot see, give me a second. I'm opening. I open an app that it give me kind of like a white color, so like a white light, and put me more light. So do you see the difference? So it's just a screen, but it is make it easier. When I'm dancing, when I'm moving, it's very important that the light is not coming from the back. I might tell you things that are very obvious, but it just go very quickly through that. And the light comes from the front, even if it's a bit blind. I do not have extra lights, but there's some people who does, and it is fantastic. And the third thing, the first thing is the space, the second one is the light, and the third one is the sound. I am gonna try to do this. I was not preparing for this, but look at the difference in between this and Bridget, do you have your mic on? The good one, the pro.
I can very quickly.
No.
1 sec.
But yes, please do that, because like this we see the difference, because my computer cannot have the mic. So if you have a mic that it's going with you wherever you are, it helps big time, mainly when you're doing dance, because I am in a desktop, but when I am in my laptop teaching classes, if I get close to it, you hear me very well. If I go far from it, you don't hear me. If I turn around, you don't hear me. So I have solved this problem with two different ways. One is the cheap way, one is the expensive way. I'm gonna show you first the cheap way. The cheap way is I get very cheap Bluetooth headphones with mic incorporated to it. And it is not amazing, it's not fantastic, but it helps a lot. I'm gonna try to change from here. So you will see the difference. This is much better because this is kind of like a professional mic, not very expensive either. It cost me less than 60 pounds. But you will see now. All right. Did you hear the difference in between? So once again, from the very beginning, you will not make it much more tiring, but after an hour, it will. And you will see if we ask Bridget, for example, when she put the professional mic or not, it will make a lot of difference as well once you get in there. All right, I'm gonna go back to this. Yeah. Hello, testing, testing. Now probably you hear me more like Barry White rather than the Robocop. This is the kind of like the cheap option. This is the more expensive one, but I'm loving it at the moment. I don't get the cut on this brand, but it helps me a lot. And it's this, look, for example, this doesn't work with virtual backgrounds. No. So I got this, which is around 100 euros. This brand is a tiny bit more expensive, but there are some other ones that are quite cheap. And this one on the, I have them somewhere in another room. So this one is the receptor with wireless, and this one is the one that sends. It's very good because it doesn't pick up very much the sound around. And also the good thing about this one particularly is what I do is I can attach another mic, which is much better. And it cost me around 20 euros, which is one of those that you put in your, in here. And it's only a cable that goes to what I said, the sender. Sorry, yes, it gets here, and this wirelessly go to this that is attached to the computer. And that it makes a huge difference, huge difference. So when you're teaching online, space, light, and sound, it helps a lot. Then I told you that I was not going to talk very much about features on Zoom, but one that it helps a lot when you are teaching something. Doesn't matter if it's movement or not movement based, is breakout rooms. If you haven't used them, are really useful. Raise your hand if you've used them. So like this, I don't get too much into them. Okay. Nancy, you've been using them big time in the playground. Caroline, have you used them, or you know a little bit? You want to know a little bit about them?
I haven't used them, but I've been using Zoom a lot. I've been teaching via Zoom, so I'm quite familiar, but I haven't yet used the breakout rooms, mainly because I haven't needed to.
But you know how it works.
Yeah, I kind of know how it works. Yeah, I've been part of a group that's used the breakout room, so yeah, I pretty much, yeah, you don't
Right.
need to go into it for my benefit. Yeah, but thank you.
Fantastic. No worries. So I want to go into it. There's a couple of more features that are useful in Zoom that it's you can make disappear the people who doesn't have the camera on. So for example, Fanny, can you switch off the camera, please, for a second? So what we can see in Fanny right now is her picture. But if you only want to see active active participants or participants with the camera on, you have the option in Zoom as well to hide those people. For teachers, I don't fully recommend it because it's always good to see who is in the room, but it is a feature that is quite useful if you want to concentrate only the people who are there. Technical wise, and something that we will speak later, it helps a lot to have a tech person. It really helps a lot. It makes the whole difference. In Towards Vivencia, when we teach the classes, Nancy and Camille, they're gonna be Nancy's gonna be teaching soon. Camille, I know that there's something with dates. Yeah, it will at some point. But for all the teachers that come through our platform, there's always someone who is part of the team supporting. Mainly because when you're teaching, you are Raymond. Hello. So I'm gonna be teaching ballet class right now. We will start. Please hold your bars, and this is inspired by Raymond Chai class. Now, thank you for joining us, Raymond. We were talking about space, light, and sound, and we were saying that. Sorry. No worries. Good to see you. So yes, in the platform, in the Towards Vivencia platform, all the teachers that come to us, they have always one person from the team helping. Mainly because when you are teaching, the thing that you don't want to bother is only one person that is having problems with the sound, or one person that is stuck in the waiting room, or one person that cannot see you, or one person that is sending you an email that didn't know where the class is or what time, or get confused with time zones. So if you can afford to have someone helping you, doesn't need to be in the same country, doesn't need to be in the same continent. We've run workshops with China and I was here helping them. But it helps a lot with these kind of things. For example, Fanny, can you be really annoying and unmute yourself and do strange things? And
I'm working from a cafe, which is really loud, so it's going to be annoying.
Carry on.
Yeah, I can keep talking and I can be really annoying and make lots of noise.
And this is what the magic does of Zoom, of the technical support. Some people, most of the people don't realize, and they have dogs or they have cafes around here. So sometimes it's really difficult to get, if you have 100 people in a class, in a lecture, it's very difficult to know who is unmuted. We have our ways to find that out really, really quickly. And the team is well trained. They're experts on helping in that direction. Right now, as we speak, we are running from the Towards Vivencia a workshop with Julian Hamilton as well. And there are people asking questions about practicalities, what is happening in between, what's happening after. So to have that person running the class, it makes all the difference. Because, and then I will talk about this is a good moment. This is not a substitution for a normal class. This is something different. So when you're in a normal class, everyone is engaged, and you probably need someone in reception, and then for people coming in and out. But during the class, there's so very little things that might happen. Yeah, might someone need a band-aid at some point, or the situations that might arise in a normal studio class are much more limited than what might happen here, and the technical difficulties and everything. So having that person makes all the difference. So this is what I'm going to be talking now. It's about the content and those things that make it different. Do you have any questions about technicalities before I go into the content itself? Yes, Caroline. Caroline or Caroline, sorry.
It's Caroline, Jorge.
Caroline.
Thank you. It was just when you said that you had any recommendations for the Bluetooth mic. You said there was a cheaper version that you've been using and a more expensive one. Which one did you show us? The Rode Wireless Go. Is that the more expensive or the cheaper version?
That's the most expensive one.
Right.
My girlfriend was not very happy last week.
Oh, I'm sure. And if like you or anyone else has got a recommendation for kind of fake Apple earbuds, or maybe it's just a case of Googling, I don't know.
Bridget has one and Raymond has another one.
I mean, I got these ones the other day. They're the Bose ones. They're kind of like the sporty ones. Very hip. And I got them from Curry's. I think they were, if I remember correctly, they were maybe like 70, which is kind of on the higher end of things, but like there's a little bit of a scale there for them. And these are recommended to me by a musician. So I trusted the musician's opinion because musicians know these things.
But have they got wire? Have they got a wire on them? Or?
They do have a wire, but they're the sporting kind. So they literally go like behind and then they're just there.
Right.
And they're fairly good in terms of like staying in the head. And the wire, you really don't notice the wire at all.
So the wire is in between the ears, but not to the computers. It's Bluetooth,
exactly,
right?
Yeah. So they're wireless, but they kind of have like a little strap that kind of keeps them on.
Cool.
And you
that actually helps because
yeah.
the AirPods, they don't have a cable and they fall sometimes.
Yeah, I know, because I've got ones like yours, Jorge, over there, but I get so hot wearing them that I just don't want to teach in them really. So I might have to invest in some wireless jobs. Yeah,
Raymond has another. Do you know what is the sentence that is most repeated in Zoom? Raymond, you're muted. Well, the Raymond can be changed for anything else, but.
Sorry. I'm Asian, so I'm going to sell you Asian stuff, okay? Because they're cheaper as well. It's called, sorry, you're talking about the earpods, right?
Yeah.
Because there is another one which is, okay, you talk about the earpods, yeah. I like this one because I had the one before. They're called Anna, E-N-A-C, Anna Fire, Enac Fire. So E-N-A-C Fire. I think I bought them. They're not that cheap, actually. They're like £35. I mean, that's not cheap to me, okay? Because I'm Asian. These are great because I had those ones that had the little thing that comes out. They fall off. But these ones, it sticks. It sticks right into your ear. So it goes right into your ear. So it goes, you see, it. Can you see? So it's almost like the people that have an earring aid thing. It goes right into your ear. And I find these works great. And they last a long time too, in the sense of playing time. I think I got them from Amazon.
Yeah. Even if it looks like that they are expensive, 30 or 70 quid for mics, for technology, it's the lowest end of the spectrum. I know that the musicians that I work with spend up to 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 in only the mics. So my suggestion is just do that investment between 30 and 50 quid. It makes a huge difference. It might not be something that it's affordable at the moment for some of you who are here in the call or seeing the recording, but I will show you later on how you can make a lot of money in order to buy very expensive stuff, even a house with a basement like that. So, good. Thank you, Caroline.
Nancy doesn't need it because she probably lives next to something like that.
Buy it, exactly.
And you too, Jorge. It's just, yeah.
I don't. I literally don't. But I live in my cupboard. Literally a cupboard. I feel like Harry Potter most of the time. Any other quick question about tech before we carry on with the content?
Sorry, I've got another one. Sorry, what a pain.
The more the better.
The Zoom account, are we using our own Zoom accounts or your Zoom account?
I recommend that if you are part of the platform like we are, we pay for the Zoom account. So this is something a bit that we are going to be talking about it. Either you organize your own classes or you belong to a bigger platform. If you belong to a bigger platform, a university or like us towards Vivencia, the normal practice is that the people pay the account, mainly because if you want to pay the business or the pro business account, they are not cheap. We are paying for the pro 14-15 pounds a month, And for the business is really expensive. It's 150 a month. We use that one when we are organizing workshops like we are doing now with the 5 continents. We have workshops with one key company from each continent. We did Sydney Dance Company, we've done Beijing Dance Theatre. Next weekend is Akron Camp. The next one is Gregory Makoma Buyani from Africa. And the latest one in December is Trisha Brown. Because we are doing this workshop with these 5 companies, we pay the business account for 2 reasons. First, because it allows us to have more than 300 people in case we have that many participants. And the major feature that we needed is we are partnering with a Chinese organization. So we needed instant translation. So the business account gives you the possibility to have 2, 3, 4, 5 audio channels. So while I'm speaking, Bridget could be the translator. So you could choose if you hear me or you hear Bridget in another language, which actually for this lecture would be really good. I talked and Bridget translated into English, which that would be very useful. So yes, did I answer your question, Caroline?
Yeah, that's fine. I do have my own Zoom account and I've just paid for the sort of first package that they do. So
the Pro.
I'm happy to use yours or mine or whatever. It's okay. Yeah. Thank you.
In Towards Vivencia, we use always, actually we have 2 accounts because in the academy we have 2 studios. Imagine like a normal academy, we have 2 different studios. Right now it's happening another workshop with Julian Hamilton in our platform, while in another studio is happening this one. If you go to our platform, I'm gonna show you this very quickly. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. Can you give me the thumbs up if you can see my white screen? Yeah, thank you. So this is the Towards Vivencia platform. So when you arrive here, you can see what's happening during the week, and then you can see all the classes that we are having here this week. If you want to go to the next week, you will need to teach November, which week do you want to see, and you see the classes that we have here. So here it is not set because participants is not information that they need to know because it is not relevant. By the way, we have an amazing session later on in 1 hour and a half with Ethina Bagla. It's an incredible artist, choreographer, most inspiring choreographer I work with, and she's going to be talking to us about how her own research. So when we set up, I'm going to show you the belly of the beast. I'm really excited now. So this is, as admin, this is how it works inside, the things that the students don't see. So this is how we organize our classes. So when we create a new class, and you will see here, this is all the classes that we have in the platform from now until December already set up. There will be some of them that are not set up. We have the making of solos with Julian Hamilton. It's happening right now in Studio 2, while the free event for teachers is happening in Studio 1. So there are 2 different Zoom accounts that are associated to our platform. So like this, we do that. Why am I telling you this? Because if you come to our class, to our platform, if you log in as a student, you will have only these 3 options. It's very little. You will not see this one because this is only for people who has a profile with those permissions. And you will see your classes here, the ones that you've booked. So I booked this one, and you will have, instead of canceling booking, this studio will open only 10 minutes. You will have here a link that says start class. So this is the good thing about this platform. It took us a lot of time to build it and money that we didn't have, money that we still don't have, but people don't need the Zoom link. They just go here, click, and they appear in the studio here. We are trying to make the life of our participants as easy as possible. So the process is very simple. As a student, let's see if I have credits enough. People just arrive here. I want to take the class with Ethina Bagla. Book now. 7 credits will be used. Okay, I say yes. If I don't have enough credits, it will take me directly to here to book new classes, where I can book either a drop-in class, the whole term, or any of the specials that we have here, which is the 5 continents or a weekly pass. Once I have that, I can book it. And once I booked, so I go back here. So forget what I said about the classes. So once I book this one, if I go into my classes, your classes, it will tell me that this is being booked. So 10 minutes before the class starts, I click enter the class, and that's all I need. So we are saving lots of emails back and forth. What is the email? What is the link? I got lost. At what time is the class? This is major. It took us a month to figure out, because we did a beautiful feature that it changed wherever you were in the world. So it shows you the time where you are, and that was not useful. Everyone got very confused, but it's Central European time. So we decided just to put kind of like Central European time is the center of where we are working with. So it's 6 till 7 Central European time. So for example, Berlin, Madrid, or Paris this time, and that will be in. So for the teachers who are going to be with us, you don't have to have a Zoom account, which is actually very beautiful as well. As a teacher, it's really nice because you click, you arrive here, and the very first thing that you see is the classes that you're going to be teaching. You see, this is my class because I'm going to be set as a teacher. So once again, I don't need to know the link. I just click on teach the class, and I appear in the right Zoom at the right time. So it makes life very easy for teachers and participants. Good. That's all the technicalities. I could start talking about technicalities the whole time. I'm just a geek with these kind of things. So any other question about technicalities before I go into content? Okay, quick summary. Clean space is going to help. Good light is going to help. Good sound is going to help a lot. How to get into the class, Zoom links and stuff. Much better to have something automatized than to have to be sharing, because you will be getting lost with waiting rooms and passwords and all that stuff. That's something that we already sorted out with the platform. Content. So, frozen. Are you there?
It's recording. All good.
Is it good?
We're just explaining that sometimes it happens that the internet isn't in our favor. And
that was the best example to show you that I'm not Harry Potter, and that doesn't happen when I teach class at Rambert. I cannot click my fingers and disappear. Here it happens, and I didn't do it on purpose. I don't really know what happens. Zoom just decided to restart, so it was not even my internet connection. It was Zoom decided to reset, and I didn't have to click anything. It appears again. So these things happen, and it is a pain in the ass. It doesn't make life much easier, but it is a pain in the ass. Sorry, I got Camille. Question about volumes. That's a very good question. So I'm gonna share very, very quickly volumes and okay, what Camille is asking, for those who doesn't know, it's what happens when you are sharing your music or when you are not sharing your music and you have to talk on top of this. What you're going to be experiencing, it's something that it took us weeks to figure out. Be careful. You have been warned. For me, that's the perfect volume for the music, but you can understand nothing of what I'm saying. What I just said is like that for me is the perfect volume of music. You can understand nothing of what I just said. So it is really difficult, once again, if you are alone, to gauge what is the right volume when you are sharing sound. So now I've discovered, after a really long time, that this is probably the right volume, that my voice is more or less at the same level that the music, probably even the music is a bit louder than my voice, right? Am I correct? So more or less it's balanced. But for me, the music is really quiet. If I wanna put the music as I want to dance, and now, beautiful people, ladies and gentlemen, let's dance and go up and down. You cannot hear my instructions. So the music, when you are sharing the sound, needs to be really quiet for yourself, for people to be able to balance. Now, I'm cheating big time also because I am in my studio and because I'm spending my life here. In order to have this mic doesn't go directly to the computer. So I can measure the volume of my headphones independently from the computer. But this is not something that I do when I am teaching classes. I only have two volumes, and this is really important what I'm going to say. When the teachers that goes with us, they always have a technical run through with our team to go through these things. But when you are sharing the music, as I'm doing right now, if you change the volume on your computer, it doesn't change anything for the people who are listening. You need to change the volume on the player where you're playing the music. In this case, it's iTunes. So if I hear it quieter, but in the iTunes is really loud, you will still hear the same. So I'm gonna do this test. So I am hearing the music really normal, really quiet, and it's well balanced with my voice. Now I'm putting the music really loud from me in here because I'm changing the volume of my computer, but it didn't change for you at all, right? But you hear me screaming because I don't hear myself on top of the music. However, if I do this, I put the volume very quiet. Be careful, you're being warned. I put the sound very quiet in my headphones. I still hear the music really quiet, but it's very loud in the player. So if you wanna share the music, always share it with here. We always recommend to share your music, even if it's a bit annoying for the teacher because you hear very quiet. But if I share it from here, it's really difficult for you as a student, so as participants of my classes, to get slightly inspired because it sounds like crap. Forgive my French. Can you hear anything of the music? It is the same track, but the quality, it is pretty bad. So yes, we recommend you to share the sound from your computer. Camille, did I answer your question? Yeah, but when you come and teach with us, we always do a tech with the person because for you it's very difficult to gauge what is the volume that other people are hearing. So if you share your sound, we can tell you from here a bit louder, a bit quieter, this is good. That's why it's so important to have someone helping you technically. Good. Any other technical question? Good. Content. We realize a few things. We realize mainly of the last couple of months that because before in the training that we did in Towards Vivencia, it was very participatory. It was like a group call. We trained sitting on the chair because we were just giving content for people to apply them to their classes. So for 2 years, we were teaching that online and it was totally fine. But when you are a bit more practice-based, hands-on, the game changed completely. So it is very important that something that we did in the past, something that helps a lot, is to acknowledge the participants in the same way that you arrive to a class and then you say, hello, good morning, how is everyone? It's as simple as that. But just asking people, and it really helps me when I do that, like I said at the beginning, can you unmute yourself and say hello? People, they feel that they are alive. This is not like a wall, because this is the problem that we're having with these screens. It's like a screen. Actually, I feel really well connected with you right now through this screen, but because I see you nodding. But I don't know if you feel that acknowledged. And if it would be 30, 40 people in the class, it wouldn't feel that way. A little trick that helps a lot is, can you please, guys, write in the chat as fast as you can, what do you have for lunch and where you are right now in the world? What is the name of your street? So something that I tell people when I teach classes, I'm gonna open a restaurant in the near future. I'm gonna start calling the dishes in this way. So we will have Lyon quiche, or we will have Byron bacon and roll, or we will have Jefferson scrambled eggs. So it's very silly, and you can find your own ways, but it's a way that I am acknowledging that you are humans, that you have something for lunch, that you are somewhere in the world. So acknowledge that people, it helps. If you have 100, sometimes it's not that easy, but it's really simple to tell people, can you write in the chat where you are right now in the world and what time is it? Anything that acknowledge the other people on the side of the screen, it makes a huge difference, because this became an event rather than Netflix. Netflix, you can scream as much as you can to Ian McGregor or Neo in Matrix, that they're not going to change anything what they're saying. But here, it makes a huge difference. And something that we've been told, something that we are going to be asking as a favor or as a recommendation to the teachers who are going to be part of Towards Vivencia, it's dedicate a couple of minutes in the class to explain maybe why you are here, or what is happening in the world, or why this class is going to help a little bit what's going on in the world, or why or how this class is not going to help, or it's making difficult. Whatever it helps to acknowledge a little bit the context. So we realize once again that telling Fanny that she's here and then she's in Lyon and La Place de l'Opéra. You're in that cafe. Now I get it in which one you are. I love that one. Oh, I miss Lyon. Oh, I wish I would be there. Fanny and I, we were teaching. The last workshop that I ever taught in 2020 was in France, very close there in Lyon. And I loved every minute of it. But that's it. This is very different. It is not a substitution of what we did in Lyon. So acknowledging the people who are here in individual basis and acknowledging the context, it makes a huge difference. To our teachers in Towards Vivencia, and I apologize in advance for that, we send them a 12 pages document. Is 12 pages, Bridget, by now? Or something like that? Yeah, Nancy said like, yeah, it's 12 pages. First of all, because we want to be very transparent, that we will talk that about later, but also because we want to explain as much as possible what is the context of these classes. We are not just, or we don't want to offer just classes for the sake of it. Each week has a theme, and each week, every Monday morning, I try to make a link of what's happening in the moment right now with the classes that people are going to be taking. So this for me particularly, I don't know from Fanny or Bridget or the rest of the team, but for me, what we are doing is a highly political action. This is the most rebellious action that I can think right now from the dance world, is to carry on doing day after day. And if I book a teacher, or I ask a teacher to be part of Towards Vivencia, like I did with Nancy a few weeks ago, or with Raymond back in August, I do not know what's going to happen the last week of October that they're going to be teaching. So for me, it's very important to have that Monday morning, half an hour of acknowledging what's going on in the world and why this week I think is going to help performers, or why this particular theme, which in this week we are in playfulness. We have Bridget giving a workshop on Friday about voiceover. So it's very, very playful. And she has a little video in our Instagram of 1 minute that is fantastic from the previous session. So it's about playfulness. We knew that this week was going to be about playfulness, but exactly right now, what it is right now in the world, that Spain, for example, got into a curfew on Sunday, and France went 3 weeks ago. We couldn't predict that. So how the classes that we choose in in August are now relevant, or how we can make them relevant. And when we have the teachers dedicating a few minutes to give their point of view, to be humans, to acknowledge what we are doing, even if it's, I hate giving classes online, but I think it is the best way that I can share what I have to share right now. It is the best that you can do for your participants. It is absolutely the best that you can do. We have a beautiful 30 seconds. I don't think it was much more, 30, 40 seconds. Was it on Monday or Tuesday with Charlotte McLean? Monday or Tuesday. she was about to teach class, and we have 30, 40 seconds exchange of sentences, of phrases, of what she was, why she was doing this. She was in her basement with another 5 people taking her class live while she was sharing that class with other people around the world. And it was absolutely beautiful. It felt like we were in the middle of a war, and that was the resistance in the basement, fighting our way through with lots of love and lots of light in order to make people move. And that is more than enough. That is what we need at the moment, because what we're realizing is that the online classes are not a substitution, are a way. The major obstacles that we are facing at the moment, talking about content, is lack of financial resources. So lots of people who normally take classes and workshops, they are finding difficult time because lots of jobs have been cut, not only in the performing arts, but casual jobs. So they find difficulties to keep the training going. But that obstacle, it's something that is easily, please bear with me, is easily avoidable with other kind of jobs, or support from family or friends, or savings or whatever. But something that is not that easily avoidable, and something that we are seeing as the biggest danger that dance is facing at the moment, is the apathy that it's settling slowly but surely in most of the freelance dancers. I am teaching in 3 different universities, and the engagement with the students, I can tell you how it declines week by week, not because they are not happy with the content of the online classes, not because of they are tired of being online, which a little bit as well, but it's like, why am I doing here this? Why am I here? And that's why I believe that us as teachers, not only motivating for the sake of it, but just sharing our humanity, our obstacles together, and sharing a little bit of light of how we come out from service to make our class a place to share, or a place for people to feel in community, or for people to move their bodies, or to work the asses, as simple as that, and to feel that their ass is much more tangent and beautiful and gorgeous. It's going to help them a little bit through that. At least is your in English you say 2 cents. It's your 2 cents. And that's where we are here. So you see, I haven't even started talking about what are you teaching, but the how, the why is what we've seen, that it makes all the difference. And then all of you are experts at what you do. All of you know your shit, and I love this word, very, very well. So I never worried about what kind of class itself is Nancy going to teach, because I trust her with my life. I saw her that is a gorgeous mover, that in the way that she gives corrections, in the way that she is delivering the content, is absolutely fine. I fully trust that she's going to be amazing. And you are all, because you have all the experience in the world. Now we are facing different challenges, and we are here to help each other just to how to compensate that lack of years, because you are experts on what you're teaching, because you are doing this for years and years and years, but we haven't been facing this new model for years and years and years. And it's not very different than the very first time that I moved to the UK and I had to teach a class in English. Still, my English has a very, very strong accent, Spanish accent, but I feel comfortable with it. At the very beginning, I felt that it was half me. It's like, how am I going to teach this class if I cannot express those things? Teaching online is very the same. It's not very different than that. You feel that you are much more limited, but actually it is not true at the end of the day. It is just another medium, like English is another language with another possibilities. And now I teach a class in Spanish, and I cannot freaking say the word in Spanish. I always need to say drop your pelvis, because it sounds so freaking good. Drop your pelvis. It's so sound wise, it's so onomatopoeic. Nancy, how do you say drop your pelvis in Greek?
Not very sure, because I have the same problem, actually.
Right?
Yeah, totally agree with you. And also, like, it sounds weird. I don't know. English is easy language, or now it's easier than before.
And I tell you, sometimes now I got into the studio a couple of weeks ago and I was missing some of the possibilities that online teaching is offering me. So once again, it's another medium, it's another language that we are learning. It is not a substitution of my Spanish. I still love to talk Spanish and teach a class in Spanish, but sometimes I miss to teach a class in English, or I mix them both. With online, it's exactly the same. It is just a new language. So beautiful people, as teachers, when you prepare your class, beside these tips of acknowledge the people, acknowledge the context, if you can be part of a bigger pool, that always helps. Like with Towards Vivencia, each week is a theme and you know what you belong to. So that helps to create a context. When you prepare your class, my biggest advice is prepare a class for teach it online. Don't try to reproduce your class online, meaning that do not disregard everything that you've been doing over the years, but build upon it. So those are the tools that you already have, but don't try to do the same because it's going to be a total disaster. Just build on it and it will help you a lot from there. But also acknowledge that it's a new thing. So I cannot tell you much more about content. I will go now into promo and outreach, but any questions or comment or thoughts or something that I forgot about content from the people who has been experiencing this for a really long time? Good. So if you are happy, if more questions comes later on, we'll go for the next one. One more thing about content before if I can, before I forget. My suggestion is take classes. Once again, invest in your own training, because the more you will see other teachers teaching online, the more you will find your own style. I have to recognize that I'm not taking many classes at itself, but I am going through I am witnessing lots of different classes, lecture, conferences, pre-recorded classes, live classes. So when I teach online, it's helping me, because like when I was a dancer, I learned a lot from different teachers, and I still go to take other classes, and that informs my classes. I like not to steal, but to borrow. So if I bring something that I've learned from someone else, it's like, oh, I learned this in this class, this exercise, and it was fantastic from Fighting Monkey or whatever it is. With the online things, I try to do the same. So try to take as many classes and keep developing that practice. All right. I go for the promo for why people are going to come to your classes. This is, I set it up like a joke before, but it is not that a joke. We're in a moment that we are democratizing teaching, dance, professional practice much more than before. Before, we depended always on an institution inviting us, or a theater inviting us, or having a space, or even just being able to go to the studio at 10 o'clock in the morning. Now, if we want, we can teach at 3 o'clock in the morning, wherever we are in the world, because it's 6 o'clock in the afternoon somewhere else in the world. That comes with pros and cons. The best pro is exactly that you can teach and then you can earn a living out of your practice in a much more regular way than before. Before, I was teaching classes at Rambert and they hire me 2-3 times a year for 1 week, meaning that I always depend on them inviting me. I sometimes write to National Company Dance Wales saying like, I have this week free, can I go and teach professional class? Sometimes works, sometimes not. So my income somehow depending on a lot of external circumstances. The beautiful thing now is that you can generate your own income by organizing your classes, or Towards Vivencia, we're always open to organize all the classes that is not the ones that we are promoting. So if you have ideas, if you want to be part of this platform, let us know, because that's the other thing, the other good thing. We can organize 2 or 3 classes at the same time, and that is not going to be a stepping into each other. So it is about teachers, not about institutions. That's something that we absolutely loved, because the power of choosing, curating, it became much more individualized. So it is not about who you are friends with or who do you know. The network is what is your offer. And we realize in Towards Viencia, because this might be a tiny bit contradictory of what we do, because somehow Towards Viencia is a platform, but it is not an institution. So actually what we like to say is that we ask the teachers to be part of this week or that week, because we think that their classes is they melt well with each other. But if we have someone approaching us saying like, actually I have this idea of this workshop, it is like, let us know the dates, we organize it for you. So this is a little bit the difference. So it's not about institutions, it's about communities. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to create a community, not an institution who has the power of decision, but a community that support each other. So the difficult, so those are the pros. The cons is like, if you go right now into Facebook, it is scary, the amount of classes, workshops, online films, events that is there. And it's scary because like, where do I start? I want to do all of it. And at the same time, because I want to do all of it, I end up doing popcorns and not doing any of it, because I get really, really overwhelmed. And we realize that it is not about the one that makes the most noise, which is very interesting. It is about what is the content that you offer, and most importantly, to whom you are offering that. We realized that people who did a lot of noise in the past, I'm not going to say names because I don't fully agree with their practices, but there are people who are being very successful right now in the online, making hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm talking on dollars because they charge in dollars. But why? Because they did a lot of noise in the past. They have a huge governmental support from behind. But, and this is the but, which I have to give my hats off, they found what are their audiences big time. So once the audience is hooked to what they offer, the audience is very loyal, because the audience, the information, it's so wide. It's like the wild west, the wild west, the west, wild west. I'm dyslexic and Spanish. Say it, Camille, you have it.
The Wild West, you were totally right.
Yes. It's like the Wild West. There's so much information out there that people, the participants, are, as soon as they get loyal to something that they like and you don't let them down, they will come back to you because of particularly the amount of information that is down there. So what we suggest, or what we are trying to do in Towards Viencia, is to find what is our community, and to offer them what they need and what they want, not what we think they need or not what we think they want. And we realize that in Towards Viencia, the participants, that the classes that are more successful is not because we are promoting them, it's because those people know the teacher or know about them, or in the way that the teacher has been presenting their material, it's appealing to them. So this is a beautiful thing and a really bad thing for us as a business. Actually, we are not the business. We are losing money big time. But we hope that this is a funny laugh, because he's the one doing the numbers and she knows what I'm talking about. But we hope that this is going to be kind of like a possibility for all of us to come together stronger. So what we realize is those people who are very well known in certain circles, and those circles know about their classes with us, those classes are pretty well attended. Pretty well attended means two things. The first one, and not very important for the world that we are living, but somehow important, it's both the teacher and Towards Viencia has a financial means to be sustainable. And that is the most important thing, sustainability, because what we are doing, it's an amazing service for the rest of the world. But if the teacher or the platform that is offering those classes is not sustainable, those classes will cease to exist. Therefore, the service will stop being offered. And if the services start offering, there is no good that we can do in the world. So having a class well attended, it is very important to make it sustainable. And therefore to make it more long-term. So just to make it very simple, if we have any of you taking teaching classes as part of Towards Vivencia, we will do our best to do newsletters. We at the moment reaches around 2,500 people. Our Instagram account that reaches 1,700 people, and our Facebook account that mine personally has around 4,000 people, and the Towards Vivencia has around 2,000 people. All together, it might be that it reaches nearly 8 to 10,000 people, which is a lot. But I'm asking Camille because she's here. I don't know the circle that Camille is well known. Those people who knows her classes, they might get to know Towards Vivencia through their teacher or might not. So they might not know about her classes with us unless she says in her circles, I am teaching these days in this way, you can access to these classes. So we realize that the most important thing to have people in your class is to reach the people that they know you, and or and this is the other thing that is very interesting, it is the amazing opportunity to put your message across to people who doesn't know you, and therefore to be able to reach people that doesn't know your class. I realized that and this is the second thing, my classes, particularly when they are successful, is for two reasons. Either because I tag or I send the message to the people that I know that they enjoyed in my classes when I was a teacher at the place, or when I teach professional classes, or the dancers who has been part of my creations with other companies when I've been commissioned, or former students, so my circles, or when the title and the short description, always short, no more than 2 sentences, it's very relevant to a particular community or to a particular sector of people. So when I did, we did a course, a class that was pelvic floor for dancers. It was not very successful at all. As soon as we change it and how to avoid injuries on your knee ligaments, it changes big time, and we had a lot of people enroll. So how the same workshop would describe it in another way, it changes big time. I'm going to tell you something that in the dance world, it might sound a bit weird because we don't talk in these languages, but it's something that I've learned over the last couple of years. To your participants, if you come with lots of love and out of service, sell them what they want to give them what they need. I'm going to say it again. Sell them what they want to give them what they need. So you might know because of your experience that actually what your performers need is to work out the pelvic floor, but they don't know yet that that's what they need. But what they want is to avoid injuries. So with all my love and coming out of service, not coming from a capitalist, I am going to do a hard sell to you. I'm going to talk to you in your language to give you something that you don't know that it's really important yet. But the content doesn't change. So it's how you talk about what you're doing. So when you talk about your classes, when you put your classes, the title and a sentence, don't think about all the things that you know. Think about the things that people need and how you're going to be able to provide that. So once again, it doesn't come from a hard sale point of view. It's like, actually, I really want to serve you guys, and this it's going to help you. But if they don't know that it's going to help them, you're not doing them any service. So once again, what we do in Towards Vivencia and what we try to do is always to benefit the people who are in front of us rather than what we want to get out of it. But how I can benefit the people in front of us is to give them what I think is what I know from my experience that it's necessary. In Towards Vivencia, we have a big problem because our main training is how you train non-ordinary states of consciousness. In English, or for most of the people, that's like, whew, because it's like, what the hell is that? I don't need that. But when we start talking about how you can go over the obstacles that our life is putting you at, and you are able to navigate through them with a big smile and be able to train your resilience, your motivation, and trigger at will that state of mind where you became one with your body, with the movement, with the dance, with the music, people start understanding that that's something that they need. But what we are doing is we are training non-ordinary states of consciousness. But the different way of talking is what do you need? So yeah, the most important thing about the promo is out of service. And the two latest things that I want to talk to you is something that is going to help you a lot to promote your classes is partnerships. If you are alone, the circle that you're going to reach is much smaller than if you partner with people who already have a bigger circle. So once again, sorry, Camille, nothing personal, just because you are in that side of the screen that I can see you, and probably because you have red hair and it's I like it. I can see it very, very well. So Camille has a circle of people, and that circle of people is going to be coming to her classes because they like it. But partnering with us in Towards Vencia, we can reach another 8,000 people that maybe 60% of those 8,000 people doesn't know her. And maybe out of these 60%, out of these 5,000 people, it's 500 people that really talks what she's saying. So it's only 10% of our audience, but it's already more 500 people that they didn't know you. Out of that 500 people, maybe only 1% of them, which is 5, decide to come. Well, it's 5 people that they didn't know you, and they decide to know you, and they fell in love with you, and they already follow you for the rest of your life. So partnering helps a lot. That's why when we did the 5 continents project, we partnered with an organization in China, which we have no freaking clue what's going on in there, but they have the circle, they have the reach, and they are helping us. We are partnering with another organization in Africa, which we don't know very much what's going on there. They are the specialists, they have the circles there. We partner with people in America. Nancy was part of the Playground Rambert. We partnered with them because we knew that the people who they can reach is people that they don't know us. So by partnering with them, we can offer a bigger service. So partnering is really, really important. And once again, for those who are going to be teaching with us, fantastic. We are really looking forward. For those who are not part of the Towards Vencia platform, here is your platform, your home for whatever you want to organize with us. And the last little boring thing that it is a bit funny, but I wanted to finish with this is in the dance world, in the performing arts world, there is this tendency, and I'm not going to point fingers because maybe all of you are completely from another practice and you don't have that problem, but I have lots of problems in the past to take money. Even talking about it, this is already difficult for me. So this idea of charging for classes, how much I charge for my class, to ask people to come and it's like, actually pay me. It's a huge problem in a personal way for many of us. So by having a platform like ours, or having another partner who is organizing the workshop for you, you are kind of like saving that problem because it became a much more clinical. There is no emotions involved. This is how we do it. This is how much it costs to organize it. Someone else take payments and someone else receive the payment, and that's it. In the way that in Towards Vencia we do it, because we want also to start doing things in a different way, we are fully transparent as much as we can. As much as we can, because sometimes not because we don't want, sometimes we forget about things, but all the accounts are public. So all the money that is coming to Towards Vencia, the percentage that PayPal or Stripe is taking, how much percentage goes to the teacher, how much percentage goes to Towards Vencia, and how the percentage that is coming in Towards Vencia is divided in between the members of the team, it's fully public. In that way, actually we are, and I'm going to use this, we are laundering money. It is not as dirty anymore because it is very clear of where the money is going. And Bridget is laughing. I hope this is not going to be tapped by the government. Actually, if it's tapped, it's fine. All our accounts are very clean. So we can show everything whenever they want. But they can see, and I can be very fully open, that for 3 months of work organizing the summer intensive, I got paid, I don't remember, it was nearly 1,000 euros, Fanny? Do you remember? We do so many things that, but I can't tell you. But for 3 months of work organizing a 3 weeks workshop, what I got paid, it is public. What each teacher got paid is public, although in that case, just for privacy purposes, we say workshop 1, workshop 2, workshop 3. We don't reveal the name because we haven't asked the teachers permission to reveal that information from them, but from the accounts of Towards UNC is very clean. So what I'm trying to say is, like, money is a bit funny, but we have the possibility of making dance really affordable, really sustainable for very little. The people who are coming through the Towards UNC Academy, they are paying 199 for the whole term, I think, something like that. That means that for 200 euros, they are taking more than 200 classes. So actually each class, it costs 0.70 cents. The workshop with Akron Camp, it costs, if you book 3 weeks in advance, 29 euros. Means that per day of classes, you are paying 14 euros. It means that per hour, you're paying a tiny bit more than 2 euros, almost 3. So we can make it affordable because we don't have to pay the teacher's travel, the accommodation. People doesn't have to pay the traveling and accommodation to other places. So this is an amazing opportunity, and just put certain value to make this sustainable. Once again, it is not about personal gain, but about making sustainable in the long term for us to be able to offer this service. And being the moment that it is right now, with the situations that it is, Towards Vencia wants to be a platform that as many freelancers can then make a little bit of income from it, in order to be able to compensate the things that are not happening, workshops, performances, etc., etc., etc. So my dream would be that at some point we have enough money for each teacher to get, and I'm not gaining off my head or dreaming vodka. We've got people teaching for us for 1 week, 2 hours and a half a day, getting more than 1,500 euros for that week. So if Towards Vivencia can help performers to earn in 1 week what they would earn normally in a month and make their life sorted for that month, our work is done here. And that's where we are aiming, not to charge more to the participants, but to have more participants across the world. Jane, thank you for joining us. Bye-bye. She had to go. So beautiful people, those are the contents that I wanted to share with you. Tech, content, promo, and we are in the questions time. Fanny and Bridget, before we go into the questions time, is there any big thing that I forgot of how we do things in Towards Vivencia, or what we learned from the past? Good. So if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, begging, demands, requests.
I've got a comment, a thought, and a couple of questions. Just on the back of what you were saying about payment, Jorge, I really like the fact that you're doing this. It's amazing, and also that you have this sliding scale of experience, and how, you know, if you're straight out of college, you'll get this rate. If you've been working for 5 years, you'll get this rate, because you feel, well, I feel personally that that there's so much of that in the industry that, you know, you get paid an hourly rate regardless of whether you've left college last year or whether you left 20 years ago. So yeah, I really appreciate that part of your platform is I think it's really good that you're doing that. So well done.
Thank you.
Can we take other classes on the site? Is that all right to sort of dip in? Do we just sort of pay the same way as everyone else, and we can kind of, you know, have some taster sessions and things like that? Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. answering a little bit to the tier system, it's something that, thank you for acknowledging this, because it was very important for us. And one of the teachers gave us this this thing that I really like as well. Actually, it's not only for the people who are very experienced, it's also for the people who are straight out of college, to have something to look after to. And I really love that. There is a progression in dance. There is a reward if you stay for longer. So please stay for longer. I really like that.
Yeah, no, totally. Of course, that's a really, really good point as well. Yeah.
And yeah, taking classes. Classes are open for everyone who wants to take them. I don't know if that's your question, actually.
Yeah, no, that was it. Yeah, because I sort of seeing when you shared the screen and seeing all the teachers, and I just, it's really hard. Like you said, there's so much out there. There's so much content, and I've done a couple of people's classes, but I have felt quite overwhelmed in lockdown in the last few months, thinking I want to do a class, I want to do a good class, and I've got to sift through all of this information to find that a decent class. So yeah, it does. I think too much choice puts people off.
When we started doing the classes in March, everyone in Towards Valencia felt that I was a bit crazy, and I was a little bit when I start building more and more classes. And it's like, but there is so much online, why you all keep offering more? And then I thought, actually, the reason why I'm doing that is to try to overwhelm less the people. So instead of being super overwhelmed with the classes that they are, if you don't want to move from our platform, you have in the right order, ballet, contemporary, Pilates, body conditioning, improvisation, and then you have a lecture at the end of the day. So you don't have to think where to go every time. You know that what we are bringing, it's high quality, and we are trying to reduce the overwhelming situation. But I understand it's a lot in the moment. It's a lot.
And for the when you showed us the way to log in to get to the class, do you want us to use that? Sorry if I missed something, but we have to log in via your website, or we create a Zoom link and then we send it to you? Or that sounds a bit clunky, actually, now that I've said it out loud.
No, you will receive an email from our lovely team, and it will tell you the login and the password, meaning that we always create a temporary login with your email, the one that you provide us, and the password is always the same. I don't remember. I think it's TWV teacher 0 or something like that. That's the temporary password, something like that. Then you log in. The first time it asks you to change your password. And then you can, as I said, 10 minutes before your class, you don't even need to look at anything. I'm going to show you again.
Perfect.
Basic desktop. So can you give me the thumbs up if you are sharing my screen, please? Yeah, great. So I'm going to log out for you to see what a teacher normally does. So I arrive here. I have lots of logins because I have different admins. So by this email, jorgecrecis at jorgecrecis.com is my teacher's login. So I log in. And you will not see any of this because I am an admin as well. So what you will see is if you log in as a teacher, that's the very first thing that you see. Welcome, your name, and you will have a list of the classes that you are teaching here. And the very first one, if it's 10 minutes before your class, if it's 11 minutes, this will not be here. If it's 12 minutes, this will not be here. If it's 8 minutes, this will be here for the duration of your class. And you just need to click here and it will direct you directly to your studio. So for teachers, it's very easy. There will be someone from the team waiting there with a Towards Valencia moderator name. So you can say, hey, I'm already here, and they will help you with the technicalities of volume, or if we see you all right, if we hear you, and anything else that you need from them. I'm not sure if it makes sense, the path for the teachers.
Yeah.
How to get into a class. Yeah. If any one of you would like to have a tech run before your class, way before your class, a couple of days before, you are not sure about Zoom settings or anything like that, you can request that to our team and we will only be happy to help.
Jorge, do you hear me?
Perfect, loud and clear.
Okay. I want to ask you actually something. Have you done any classes that it's live and on Zoom?
Yes, we did it with Jose Agudo. We opened his company classes and we did them on Zoom. We have also Luis and Samuel is the name. So these are the people that, for example, we didn't approach. We approached Luis to teach class, but they approached us saying like, actually, we want to open our company class, and we are more than happy to organize it. So if anyone is listening to us that want to organize your classes, contact us because we will be happy to do that for you.
And
In our
with
experience,
that,
yeah, sorry.
I want to ask about like technicality, because for example, I use like,
it didn't work out
I
very
use,
well. No,
you haven't
because
found a way as a geek person.
we found a way which is not ideal, which is like when you are in the news room and then you have the news person giving the news and then you have the translator in the sign language on the side. That is the best thing that we found, because the teacher is so concentrated in the people who are in the room that normally the back of the teacher is back to the screen, and even if he's in front, you have lots of people in front of you, so you cannot see properly. So what we did is we had the assistant on the side. Ciao, Camille. We have the assistant on the side who was repeating Jose's instructions and was showing directly for the camera.
I see, okay.
There might be other ways. I know that TripSpace is trying something similar, and I don't know how it's working, to be honest. Are you familiar with how it's working, Fanny or Bridget, with TripSpace, the live classes at the same time?
Because I'm teaching there next week, so I'll find out what their setup is.
Okay. We'll tell you more next week.
Sorry, and maybe another question out of curiosity. Have you noticed any difference like in times, like the morning and the evening classes? Obviously, because one of the pros of teaching online is that you can teach in many countries, like in many different time zones. But I'm wondering, like, I don't know, like if, like, for example, in the mornings, usually some people are working, like, but do you still have crowd? Then in the evenings, like, for example, 6 CET time, it's like my 7. Like, I don't know how, like, did you had any battles with timings? And
we can tell you that definitely 4 o'clock in the morning doesn't work very well. Because we've tried. The classes that they were from Beijing at 10:30 a.m. over there, that was 4 here, it's been the workshop that has been less booked from people here. Although they have access to the recording later on, still people prefer the live version. Now, in terms of the morning and the afternoon, once again, the only things that I notice, and probably Fanny and Bridget can tell me something different from your side, is like it depends on the teacher. People always find the time to do the class that they like. So we haven't found very much of a difference. Have we, Fanny or Bridget? A bit, maybe from your point of view, it's a bit different.
I think it depends as well, like on the people who are taking the class, because some people prefer doing class in the morning versus doing class in the evening, just like in any other circumstance. And then also with, because like I teach on Tuesdays and Thursdays with folks who aren't dancers, and they've been very adamant with us the whole time of like, no, it needs to be at this time because this is when I get off work, and then da, 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 da. So like, because their schedule is a lot more set, they're a little bit more clear with the timings that they need. But yeah, it totally depends on who comes. And I mean, like freelancers, we're all over the place anyway, so it you know, it depends. It totally depends, I think, on the people who are coming.
Anything else that we can help with? Well, if I can wrap this up, once again, thank you very much for people who attended and for people who are in at home watching the recording. If I can highlight something out of this conversation, that normally speaking out loud helps me also to realize or to highlight what is important for us, it's if we do this, we do it out of service. I am not trying to put your goals or your objective or why you do these classes, but what we realize in the moment, the thing that helps, it's a win-win situation always, it's coming out of service and with lots of love. It's like we think that this is what we can offer, this is what people can need in this moment, and that is when the synchronicity happens. So on that line, with lots of love and coming out of service, thank you very much, everyone. We will be here once again for any questions that you have, and happy to help always. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thanks so much.